What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Season of Giving on Cradle of Death. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Cradle of Death is the map where constructs guard specific points that we have to destroy. These constructs are invincible unless we bring a truck nearby to make them vulnerable. Then we destroy them and both players need to deploy the trucks in the guarded spots to destroy the objectives. Gifts spawn regularly. You get rewards for capturing them. Otherwise, Amon gets the gifts. Your units take more damage when they kill more, and large clouds move across the map and slow your dudes.
Cool. So, Sticksbender and Herman are in the call with us today. How are you guys?
Good, doing good.
Doing fine, yeah.
Alright, so Herman, how will we rank the commanders this week?
So this map is quite annoying, and the gifts on this map is also, I would say, interesting because it might spawn on a lot of weird positions, just like Void Rift on this map. But unfortunately, there are not any Void Rift mutation on this map, so probably someone won't know that. Yeah, just gifts will spawn on like weird positions. So commanders that have like good mobility that can just like teleport to a position that doesn't have vision will be pretty good. And the Nautilus kind of counter commanders that are that are just like using heroes to do a lot of stuff, because like heroes usually like to have a lot of kills, and they probably just will get more damage by Nautilus. Other than that, Blizzard kind of counters commanders that have like small giant armies. Yeah, just Blizzard might just kill them like Zagara things or something like that. Other than that, I don't think there are any big issue for this week. Yeah.
Yes, but I was asking, how will we rank the commanders this week? Like, how will we know which ones are good?
Oh, so just commanders that have good mobility and doesn't base on hero.
Alright, so those who don't rely on heroes and those who have mobility. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah.
So let's see. You have lots of the gifts start spawning early. They come with additional waves, and they can obviously spawn in weird places in the back. And so you end up having to have the ability to clear more waves, clear those waves in really awkward spots, and clear those waves without using a hero unit, because hero units don't get to stick around for long because eventually they just become unable to do anything without getting instantly deleted. Also, by the way, Blizzards can claim the gifts.
Yes, they can.
Yes.
Because of course they can.
Of course they can.
So that makes it incredibly slow and painful trying to claim the gift, because you can just get RNG'd into, hey, a Blizzard walked by, you have to start over.
Right.
So basically that sucks. And man, imagine if there was anyone at Blizzard who tested their game. Anyways, you're probably going to want to look for good early wave clear that isn't a hero, or if it is a hero, they can manage to pull it off without getting hit back, because they'll die to a single marine bullet before long.
Or a single SCV bullet. Let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Well, Abathur have the ultimate evolution, so just Brutalist, they have teleport or deep tunnel. But the problem for Brutalist is that they always they do AoE damage and they kill a lot of stuff. So they'll be really fragile in late game. And but for Abathur, it's like if you get an Archangel, it's probably just like game over, right? Like if you get an Archangel for Abathur, and Abathur can gather biomass for the Archangel, and probably just slaughter everything. Yeah. And because of the Nautilus, I think Stormhost should be your main army. It should be your army. Should be your army selection. I think Abathur is like a B for this week.
All right. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, he might be a B. There's one critical thing. I can't remember if when the symbiote gets kills, it properly credits the kill to the ultimate evolution that's hosting that symbiote. So that might be something that would help him as well, if he can just use Brutalisks and have them run around and let the symbiote kill everything. But other than that, yeah, Brutalisks are good early game, a good mobility to get to gifts. You just have to worry about the fact they will expire, basically, because they'll just get too many kills. But on the bright side, then you just get more biomass to make more Brutalisks, and then keep having an ongoing cycle. Yeah, it's gonna be bumpy, but doable. I guess B works.
I actually had Abathur in A for one specific reason. Abathur can deep tunnel to where the gifts are, kill one unit, then deep tunnel out. What that does is leave a glob of biomass near the gift, and that will prevent Amon from capturing the gifts. So you will essentially have a bunch of gifts
Wait.
all over the map that Amon cannot claim because you have a biomass standing there.
Biomass can
Yes, biomass
I
can
forgot,
claim
yes.
gifts
Amon to
and stop
claim the
Amon from.
gift?
Yes, you can stop
Biomass and
Amon
claim
from.
gifts, I forgot.
That's why I have
Yeah,
him in
okay.
A. Tutu said that,
Yeah.
by the way. It's Tutu again. Tutu, Ghost of Tutu once again.
Because I know that toxicness can do that, but there's blizzard, so toxicness will
Toxic will die.
die.
Biomass will not.
Yeah. Yeah, biomass won't die. So if you don't go to collect that, yeah.
So once you get one Brutalisk, you've solved the game.
You solved
Amazing.
gift exchange. Of course, you can't claim 2 gifts, or else Amon will steal a 3rd one. Or you
But
can.
that's
So
okay because
why-
you're
why
not
not
claiming
just
the gifts. You're
do
just
not
leaving
claim
biomass
anything,
everywhere.
so that Amon do not steal anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can claim 1 gift because the second gift will not be claimed. As long as
Yes,
yeah, you
that's-
can claim 1 gift as long as you don't let Amon claim any. But by the way, just a disclaimer: Tutu didn't say Abathur's A. I said he was A on that basis that Tutu mentioned.
No, I would agree with the A tier with that basis. I
Yeah,
completely
and-
forgot you could use biomass for that.
All right,
Um,
let's have
I
an
just
A.
have a single question. I just have a single question. So if like you have 3 brutalists, right? So if one of them die and you let another roach become a brutalist, will that brutalist still have that many
No.
kills as a no?
It's
Okay.
a different unit.
Yeah, just okay.
All right, nice. Alarak, where do we have him?
Alarak. So he has the hero unit problem, and then past those hero units, he's kind of stuck making like 1 unit, with that unit being Stalkers, because it's the only unit that won't be like, oh yeah, I have 1 DPS core that's sitting behind the army racking up 1 million kills. You obviously can't have a DPS core rack up 1 million kills.
Yeah.
Alarak will really quickly eat your army if he's allowed to get any large amount of kills. However, for the first gift and like first wave, you can have him work by himself as long as he's not near your army, and he can, destructive wave kite and not really get touched much. But don't let him go near your army after that, basically. It's like you could use him early game and then put him away somewhere.
Yeah.
In a corner. Maybe put him in a war prism or something. Just like get him completely out of the way
Cage
after
him.
that early game.
Cage him
And then
somewhere.
just make Stalkers.
That'll work. Letter.
Probably around B. Structure Overcharge should give you a strong option to help deal with all the waves throughout the game, and your Stalkers are decent.
All right. How about you, Herman?
Yeah, I agree with everything. Just don't forget to use Warp Prism to go to the front line and use structure overcharge, because if you build pilots and when you clear an enemy base, your pilot will die because it's a structure you can't move. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So wait, which is Sticksbender said B or C?
Who?
B.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with B tier.
All right. I also had him in B. Let's have him in B. Arcturus, where do we have him?
Well, so basically you just build ESOs at your base, and ESOs they do have kills, but they won't get touched, right? They won't get
Yes.
touched. So yeah, basically you just ESO and kill everything. I'm not sure if P1 or P3 is better here, because P1 you have more contaminated strike. P3 you have decent early game, so I think both works fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just building ESOs and easy S tier. I would
Easy
say.
S tier. How about you, Sticksbender?
Nah, his early game is way too shaky for S tier, I think.
I actually agree with that.
I think your early game is going to be very rough with the early gifts. Once you get the ESOs set up, you're going to be fine. Mostly, you still have to actually clear out the bases, which is going to be. See, here's the problem. Manx already, when using ESOs this map, suffers from being slow because he uses the ESOs to clear out the base, and contaminated strike is needed to clear out the air units. And then realistically, you don't even want to wait until you finish clearing out the base because you want to grab your troopers and march in there so you can actually go with your truck and clear the constructs. And basically, the using ESOs makes it really slow to complete this map. It's still an option, but it's much slower than just straight up making an army, and you will already have timing problems because blizzards will be blocking ramps and slowing your trucks and just generally making it take forever to actually get to the objective claimed. So Manx gonna just suffer from time limit issues, and also early game before he has the ESOs set up, you might have problems. You're gonna have to, be careful with bunkers. I think he can still be A tier just because ESOs are so effective, but it's actually kind of like, it kind of depends on how hard you're expecting Minx to carry, because if he's expected to like carry really hard, he can't even make A tier, I don't think, because it actually is like quite tricky to use him to like solo here. But if you're expecting his ally to be able to like do like anything at all, his ESOs are going to make everything super easy, unless he has to also find time to do everything else on top of it, in which case it's going to be really awkward to balance everything.
Yes. So do you say A?
I'd say A.
What do you think, Herman? Are you okay with A? Or would you like to make another case for S?
Yeah, so the reason why I said S is not just because of ESOs. Like you can just drop troopers on the gifts, right? Because you have that option, and if you are using P3, you can just blow them up.
Yes.
But it costs a lot of money though. So I agree with what Sticksbender said. You know, like ESO is really slow. I definitely play Minsk on this map. Like I always just go straight to ESOs after I clear the first part. It's really slow, and I have to like contact destroy air units, and if I don't have a bunch of army to just F2A move, it's pretty slow. And you know, if your truck isn't there, the construct is invulnerable, so you have to put your truck at the position, and there's blizzards, so truck will be really slow and probably die in the past. I think S probably is too high for Minsk. Yeah. A works fine for me.
Okay, let's have him in A. I had Arcturus also in A. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka. Well, Primitive hosts are like ESOs, but you need to pay attention to them not going into Blizzard.
But they hit air.
Other than that, it's just like you get more essence from the gifts because there are more attack wave. And I'm not sure if essence can stop Amon claim gifts.
They can. I did it. They can. They do.
Okay, so
all I did was whenever gift spawned, I just spawned a greater primal worm there. I just had to kill one guy. I just had to kill one guy. That Amon would never ever capture the gifts.
Okay. So like you probably just don't want the Dehaka be there, because if the Dehaka is there, he will claim that.
Just use primal. Just use
use
primal contender.
Yes. I would say just watch out the what's that called? Watch out the blizzard when you spawn your creeper host.
They can fly through. They can fly through. The creepers have 180 health. Blizzards won't kill them.
No, I'm not saying they'll kill them, but they slow them.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah. So just watch out for that, and I think he can be S tier.
Yeah. I actually think easy S tier for Dehaka. How about you, Sticksbender?
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
All right, Fenix.
Okay.
Where do we have him?
Phoenix. So Phoenix is weird. You can just go for P2 and be like, okay, Kaldalis will die instantly to the first thing that hits him, but he'll get maybe one swing off, but I wouldn't recommend that. Personally, I would say make carriers, honestly. So basically what I would do is I would go with probably P3. I would use Kaldalis for the early game, but also he just kind of is free, literally, because you get 100% refund upon Kaldalis' death, because Blizzard can't do math, and so even though it says it's 75% refund, it's 100% refund for Kaldalis specifically, because he's special. So you just use Kaldalis to carry the early game. You get a bunch of carriers. The Kaldalis and Talis like refund all the money that you invested into them, practically, at least most of it. And then from having refunded most of the money you invested into them, you can just take a nice ball of carriers, and then carriers don't worry about naughty list, because the interceptors are the things getting hit. Yes, the carrier gets credit kills, and yes, the carrier takes bonus damage because of it, but the carrier isn't the one who gets shot. So it should be just fine.
Letter
A about?
How about you, Herman?
I actually didn't think of P3. I know he has a problem for the champions, because champions kills won't disappear if you have another champion. I thought maybe we should use P1, just go with mass carriers, but Sticksbender is correct. P3 they gave you the refund. If they can swing one time, it's worthy for that call, honest.
But also note one thing. Part of why it can swing one time is because it doesn't actually entirely properly update when converts to a new shell the kill count. What happens is it will continue to have naughty lists if it has has 0 kills until it gets 1 kill, and then it will update to the number of kills that champion has. So it'll just suddenly jump from taking it has 0 kills, it takes regular damage, to it takes 50,000 times damage. So Keldalis will always get that 1 swing off because he will be taking only regular damage until he gets a kill.
Blizzard code! Yeah!
So
This is why Keldalis is able to always get that 1 swing off, which is why he's still useful even when he has 1,000,000 kills.
Okay, so A tier, use P3 and just Keldalis and Talis for early game, and transition those beacons to carriers. Yeah, F2A will make sure carrier doesn't get shot. Yeah.
I had Phoenix in B, but the P3 argument, the Unconquered Spirit argument, makes perfect sense. I'll have him also in A.
Yeah.
Harden Horner, where do we have him?
Oh, and Horner. His top bar is good. You can shoot enemies from your base because you have what's that called? Strike fighters. But they don't shoot up, so you still want to have like giant army. You probably don't want to use Reapers because Reapers are fragile, and if you can't micro well, you'll be killed by Blizzard. So I think I would recommend D2. Just go with mass. What's that called? Mass battle cruisers, probably. Yeah, and but there is a problem for battle cruisers. They will be really fragile if you get enough kills. So that's a big problem for Unholder.
Yes.
And if you run out of mag mines, you can probably use widow mines for attack waves. But other than that, I don't think he has anything special. I think he would be C tier for this week.
All right. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, C tier makes sense, but I think you're basically just going to end up wanting to say, yeah, I'm going to go over here and mass bad Marines, because that's what Han and Horner have. They have bad Marines.
Kind of. All right.
And that's kind of what Reapers are. So with your army of bad Marines, you should be able to, well, they're Marines, or they're bad Marines, but they're basically Marines. They can hit scan, they can fit into tight spaces, especially with the Reapers, because they can fly. They can all, cram together. They can dodge blizzards. Are they strong? No. Will you potentially just run into the problem of, oh, well, my entire army of Reapers lost to that base or attack wave?
Even without mutators.
Yeah, that's a problem.
My goodness.
But at least they're not going to die to blizzards, hopefully. If they get caught in a blizzard, they're all dead.
Yes,
so,
if they caught in the blizzard, pretty much dead.
D tier honestly kind of makes sense. It's like, how?
All right.
It's not to get particularly hard countered by the mutators, aside from the fact there's just so many waves and their army is terrible.
Yeah, and yes.
I had Han and Horn in B, but both of you guys say C, so let's have him in C. Karax, where do we have him?
All right. So Karax can fast expand again. That's good.
Depends on the ally.
Depends on the ally, but he can fast expand. Oh no, Karax doesn't. Unlike Artanis, Karax doesn't for one simple reason: because Karax can send his truck to one side and orbital strike it, and then send his truck to the other side and orbital strike it. And because it's not like one big call down with a cooldown, and like he can just give a few shots and then give another order to a new truck to come in and give more shots. He's able to do it by himself. It's just he'll need to send his truck twice to get both pads clear. Then after that, it's just the other pads
your
clear.
ally.
He only has to convince his ally
that he can make it.
Walk onto the pad.
They can tank it. Yeah.
Well,
from my experience,
there's a big glowing green pad there that might help to stimulate your ally, and a monkey see green pad neuron activation. Right click truck.
From my experience, it takes a little bit more coaxing than that, but you're correct. He can do that.
Technically speaking, I think if you're really careful with the execution, Artanis can also do it in a single call down with only one truck, but that's more awkward. And either way, you want your ally.
Yes.
You want your ally to help. So yes, literally a case of ally, please move your truck, please. It's not that hard. But other than that, yes, Karax can fast expand. Karax can use top bar to clear waves, and he doesn't have to worry about the Spear of Verdun getting naughty list. The Spear of Verdun can get as much naughty list as he wants. The Spear of Verdun is invulnerable, so he could just keep dumping Spear of Verdun damage onto the entire map, and that's your hero unit. Basically, he gets to cheat the no hero units thing. It's great.
It's great. Better.
Other than that, your army is going to have an awkward time clearing, and you're probably going to want carriers. You're probably just going to go Spear of Verdun plus carriers in the long run and use cannons for the early game. So you'll fall to lots of waves, and early presents are going to be a bit awkward, but honestly, Karax is probably going to live with just saying, I don't need to get all the early presents unless my ally decides to do it for me.
Yeah.
If I miss a bunch of early presents,
Oh, no. If you miss a bunch of early presents, it stacks up. I'm telling you now. It stacks up. If you, I'm telling you from experience, it stacks up if you,
You don't
miss
have to miss all of them.
Yes, if you miss all of them, it stacks
If you
up.
miss all of them, that's gonna be an
It,
interesting.
it stacks up.
Anyways,
Letter.
yeah, I think Karax should be pretty solid. I think he can probably make A tier.
How about you, Herman?
If we're gonna make carriers, I'm not sure if we ought to use P2 or P3. I know, like Spiridon is really good. Personally, I would still use P3, but I'm just not sure if P2 carrier is better than P3.
It's
I would
cheaper.
use P3 carriers personally.
Yes,
I'd use P3 carriers.
the third one, the Solar Celestial, will allow you to have more energy for solar
Yeah,
lance and orbital strikes. And
More
if
frequently,
the
more
bonus
frequently,
is yeah,
soulless, yeah.
the bonus is if more of your damage comes from the Spear of Adun, your carriers will have fewer naughty list stacks, so they'll take less damage.
Yes.
On the flip side, they're so expensive. You pretty much need to get everything is free to kickstart your army, or a Chrono, or a Vespine Rain. That'll work. So
Yeah, I think A tier works fine for Karax. Just go P3 and just don't forget to build some cannons around your truck. Yeah.
But we all agree that as long as both players know what they're doing, there's no reason to mess up the fast expand, right? Everyone should know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Alright. No offense bubble marketing, but we all agree. Karax A. Kerrigan, what do we have him?
Kerrigan. So she has the hero problem for Nautilus. So your Kerrigan will be really fragile in late game. And your queens might not transfuse. If it's like you have 10 queens and you want to transfuse your Kerrigan, but you haven't, like, when you put down the T button and the Kerrigan just die instantly. Yeah, that's just Kerrigan's late game.
It kills most of the base though.
Yes. Probably the fourth one the last one will be a little bit tricky for Kerrigan. I don't know. Like, you probably want to use Lord, or you still go for Ultralisk. Like Ultralisk, they are also really fragile if they get enough kills. But Broodlords are better, I think. But unfortunately, Broodlords doesn't shoot up, so you probably want like some Hydras to shoot up, where you just use P2 Kerrigan. Just because of Kerrigan has the problem of being using a hero unit for the first 10 to 15 minutes. So I think she is like a C tier for this week. She's not D tier in my mind, because at least she has Omega Worms, which can provide some mobility for you and your ally. And if your ally are
from the blizzards.
Yeah, and if your ally are stuck in the blizzard and they are ground unit, and you can just give him a Nidus Worm and let them come in. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have in C?
Yeah, C tier.
How about you, Sticksbender?
I would say C tier makes sense. You have Omega Worms, or you can use Mutas, which I think a lot of people would probably recommend here as an option, because what you can do is just mass mutas. A standard muta micro is sitting at the edge of the base so that you can poke the building or something and then have the bounces kill the base. So what that means is that your mutalisks are staying relatively out of harm's way. There's a lot of the mutas so that the kills get spread amongst the mutas, so you don't have to worry as much. And then from there, you just have to make sure you don't get caught in a blizzard or they're all going to die. You could still make, if you're making, so you want less gas for it, so you may or may not make worms if you're using mutas. And yeah, I think I have to say mutalisks are an option. Other than that, I would probably go either Hydralisks or Mutalisks. And C tier per armies, and her hero is only allowed to live in the early game.
Alright, I actually had Kerrigan in B. Spoiler alert, I didn't have anyone C or lower, but both of you say C, so let's have him in C.
Yeah, this mutation's hard.
Nova, where do we have him?
Let's see. All of Nova's units have naughty list problems. All of them.
Airstrike!
Except for Airstrike, and the other thing that she has that can help is
Super Cloak!
Yeah, not exactly what I was thinking, but that does help. That's very helpful. Yes, you're right. That actually is very helpful. What I was more thinking about was the fact that you can use
Spider Mines?
Spider Mines from siege tanks as a not kill way of
that still
killing
counts
things.
Towards their kills. Maybe I'm wrong.
Siege tanks are a thing you can use if it's the ground comp on the enemy.
Yeah. I was thinking just go
Honestly,
P3, wait for nuke, then clear base.
I think that's probably a good idea, yes. However, you're going to need wave clear still, so I still say use siege tanks.
True, I agree with that.
Yeah, basically, if it's an air comp, then your response is going to be to cry and suffer horribly.
Or be like me, complain and be angry. Letter.
Okay, complain and be angry and suffer horribly. You will still suffer horribly.
True.
Anyways,
Letter.
can't really shoot up, but has a super cloaked hero unit, so she gets to be basically safe, so she can run to bases and get presents, so that she'll be pretty much safe unless a blizzard catches her, in which case her naughty list is going to be so large the blizzard will kill on contact.
Yes.
Don't
Noah's very naughty.
worry though, you can just revive her for a couple minerals.
Oh no, but the worst part is
And you
probably
actually revive her in a blizzard zone, and she died instantly.
Yeah.
and you revive her again.
but the worst part is
that's just being cruel to Nova for no reason.
but the worst part is if you're using your 5-minute cooldown and then the blizzard hits you, then you're decloaked and you die. That's painful.
The blizzard doesn't wait, what?
It still deals damage, right?
It deals damage.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't decloak. It didn't decloak.
Yes.
What
It's
does
just it'll kill you.
decloak? I think Infestor will still fungal or something. Maybe anyway.
Yeah,
Infestor fungal will decloak you.
Yeah.
But the infestor won't cast fungal growth on you unless it sees a target there. So like if Nova is standing near units, then yeah, infestor's gonna fungal you and you're gonna have a bad day. However, the only reason that you'll get a fungal growth on a Nova who's actually cloaked and alone is because power overwhelming.
Something like
Yes.
that. Oh,
You
there we
might
go.
get
There we go.
Abduct. You might go abduct.
Abduct
Abduct
too.
also reveals for like 1 second. Yeah, abduct.
But abduct actually can't be cast unless you have vision of the target. So it's an invalid target to cast abduct on super cloaked Nova. Again, unless it's power overwhelming. Power overwhelming just kind of disregards the validity of the target. It doesn't care.
Yes.
All right.
That's
you know
why
that,
you can grab it on air units to become airer units.
that would be an
with
interesting
power
mutator.
overwhelming.
Super cloak. Enemies are super cloaked. You need to need to spell cast them, surrender them regular cloaked, and then kill them. That would-
Anyways, yeah, I feel like Nova can probably be a B. She's got really solid clearing and presence claiming, as long as it's not air comp. But she's gonna have a rather rough time with the waves coming at her base, unless it's a good comp.
airstrike.
Basically, she's very comp dependent. If it's a good enemy comp, she's gonna be an easy run, like top of A. If it's a bad comp, she's down in C.
Why not airstrike? Airstrike the waves, nuke the bases.
Airstrike costs money, and you don't have unlimited of money.
Everything is free! Yay!
Then you have a lot of money. Yeah.
That'll give you a lot of money. Just
Except
spam.
even then, it's a little awkward because, like, well, what are you gonna spam to get advance? What
Command
structure are you
centers.
gonna spam to abuse the
Command
yeah,
center, command
Command
center.
centers!
See,
I
like,
did it for
what
Tychus.
can you use
I
to
got
get
12k minerals.
Yeah, here I was thinking, what can you use to get both minerals and gas? No, it's Vorazun. Or it's Nova. She doesn't need the gas. She just needs airstrike, so just minerals. Yeah,
Yes.
command centers. Fair enough. Works fine. Yeah.
B's also fine with me. How about you, Herman?
So because of she has a problem for AI composition, should we use airstrike mastery but not nuke mastery here?
Oh, I would still
I'd
use
still probably use
nuke. I would still use nuke.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, basically Nova can high roll into being S tier or low roll into being D tier.
Yeah. So for me,
just
it's B.
yeah, dependent.
Are you feeling lucky?
Are you feeling lucky? The Nova Casino, the true naughty
Yeah,
commander.
yeah. The AI is an issue here. Another reason is because of the gifts. Because if like AI is Fleetal Matriarch, so there will be a bunch of carriers, scouts,
yeah.
you can't kill. You need airstrike to kill the units around the gifts. So for money, yeah.
Not to mention
yeah,
Sky
so-
Terran, I'm pretty sure airstrike doesn't one-shot battlecruisers.
Yeah, you need snipe them. Yeah, but snipe will
Marines
reveal
will-
her.
or Goliaths
And then
will
she
punish
dies
the
to a
rest.
single marine bullet because marines are hit scan. Oof.
Anyway, so both of you have him B.
Yes, B tier.
All right.
For her.
Raynor, where do we have him?
Raynor.
We could put the good marines next to the bad marines.
Yes.
The good Marines, the evil Marines.
Is battlecruiser better here? Not sure.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because they're not ground unit, and this map is critical. So the usual jobs will kill your truck if you don't have enough ground units. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
I
they just
mean,
run ways.
Yeah. No, I think you're gonna want to have ground units. I think you want to. I feel like if you go P3 Raynor, there's advantages and disadvantages. I don't know that one is particularly better between Bio Raynor and
Bio
like
Raynor.
basically if we see Bio Raynor and P3 Sky Raynor as two separate commanders, I'd put both of them in C tier probably.
My goodness.
Makes sense for me. Yeah.
All right, both of you have him in C.
Yes.
All right. Stetboy, where do we have him?
Stetmann. He's got a problem because he can't be a full-on Gary abuser because Gary is going to have problems with naughty list. which sucks because Stetmann's usual thing is, look everyone, I have a big hero unit, and my hero unit can do the entire mission by itself with mutators, and I don't need any other units because Super Gary is just way ridiculous of P2. Here, he still can kind of do that because he's long range and he has like so much self-healing that he can actually survive having a decently large naughty list. But ultimately, you're going to need to switch to using units. But also, you could just use Infestors, and that's a unit that already is awkward to use with Gary anyways, because like the natural thing to do when you can't use Super Gary in the late game is to use Infestors, because then Gary has to sit at home anyways, because you have to be Purple Zone all the time, and then you could just have him sitting over your Infestors overcharging satellites to get even more energy. And then all you have to worry about is the fact that if a blizzard happens to wander across your stream of roaches, that's going to slow you down a lot. But inevitably, assuming you don't completely run out of time, Infestors will win. So basically, early game carried by hero unit, mid game gets a bit bumpy because your hero unit's going to have a huge naughty list, but might still be able to solo it anyways because P2 Gary is that ridiculous.
Unless
Late
if you
game,
get Avenger.
Infestors.
If you get Avenger and Super Gary, my goodness.
Yes. Late game, Infestors, and just spit all the Infestor things.
I guess you can
all
also
of the
add
roaches.
Zerglings as your mineral dump.
Yeah, you could totally add Zerglings. Zerglings will be just like your mineral dump. You just spit out a bunch of Zerglings, and the Zerglings are just over-glorified mecha roaches. You just treat them the same way.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Letter.
Yeah, I'm not sure between B and A.
Well, you can ask Herman.
Hey, you person, Herman.
I think B tier because Blizzard is kind of a big issue for satellites.
If your infestors are at home, you don't need satellites outside your base. I don't think.
But I mean, you don't want your Super Gary to go out to kill stuff and to.
He will have a tremendous stack of naughty lists after his very first Igor.
Yeah, true, but you still want him to go out. Like there are gifts. You need to claim them.
I don't know. My solution to everything is Infestors. Gifts there, recharge, throw a bunch of Roach Ravager, recharge again. Then once it's full, throw some more roaches at it. Then recharge. Once it's full, throw roaches at somewhere else. Then recharge again. But yeah, if you say B,
there's not B. B. I said B. So did the roaches rely on that light or not? Like, do you need to switch to green zones for the roaches?
I don't think you need green zones for roaches.
Just purple.
Just
more
purple.
Roaches.
Just keep them
The
under.
solution to roaches the solution to your roaches dying is to make more roaches.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, satellite. Yeah, just sit your infestor as your base. Yeah, don't go out if you're not confident to yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Just keep it purple. Just
yeah,
spam.
and the Stat Boy is a Zerg commander. So if you get kill boss, you can fit it.
It's free.
Yes.
If you get transmutation, you cry.
Which is a big issue.
If you get transmutation, I would just wait it out, kind of.
Yeah.
Or you could just farm hybrid. Letter.
Yeah, farm hybrid is interesting for last week mutation. A lot of public allies just choose Stukov P3 and use infrastructure on the first wave.
Right? My goodness. Anyway, letter.
B tier.
All right. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov, well, Marines doesn't care about Nautilus.
They do care about Blizzards, though.
Yeah, do care about Blizzard. That's the thing. So the pushing will be really slow if you are gonna use P3 bunkers Stukov. But other than that, what can you use?
Diamondbacks. I would use Diamondbacks.
Diamondback tanks.
Just Diamondbacks. Tanks are pretty mobile.
Tanks is just for like
defense, I guess. Yeah, just defend with tanks. That'll work.
Yeah, I still remember sometimes when I use Stukov, I just deep tunnel my tanks to enemy base to try to kill something. Yeah. I mean, you can use P1 Diamondback or actually maybe P1 Diamondback is better than P3 bunkers because Marines are fragile to Blizzard. And P1 you have more Diamondbacks, so yeah, probably P1 Diamondback is better here. I think the latter is a B for Stukov.
All right. Yeah. How about you, Sticksbender?
So I've already done. I used Stukov remember when we had this map with Blizzard and Tears from the Storm? I used P3 Stukov for that. It was not that bad, honestly. The Blizzards are a pain, but the key is what you actually want to do to clear the bases. You're not clearing the bases with your Marine Trickle, basically. Your Marine Trickle is defending and maybe claiming gift, but what you do to clear objectives is you drop Apocalypse and Alexander at the same time, and all your infrastructure charges charges at the same time, and you just have the Marine trickle there as backup or smash.
So just all tanks.
Yes, and for that, then what I also did was use tanks, because later ones you can also use tanks as like a weird top bar, because what you do is you just deep tunnel the tanks into the middle of the chaos, and it's great. You can deep tunnel in right next to the constructs you need to destroy for the trucks even, and just target those down, and then get the trucks just run through the chaos and get on the pads while everyone is distracted. The giant infested battle cruisers spitting Marines on them.
So later.
I don't know. I feel like he could be. The gifts are gonna be a bit of a pain problem,
All right.
Early game.
but I think he could be.
All right.
Yeah.
So both of you say B. Let's have him in B. Swann, where do we have him?
Swann. Swann's bad. Oh, this one. This is a bad week for Swann.
How bad?
A lot of people tried to solo this with Swann, myself included. Nobody has succeeded.
Yikes.
Swann's bad.
He doesn't help Amon.
Doesn't help Amon. So basically, early on getting gifts is like impossible, because you have to like rush a Hercules to jump SCVs there and try to get turret down before Amon can spawn a wave on the gift. No, it's like you can't get early gifts like at all. Your clearing later is going to be slow if we just look at the map itself. Blizzard is a pain, because like your only army of units that isn't going to suffer from Blizzard is Wraiths, which you probably want to make either way, but they're already fragile and not able to going to bleed them when they're already suffering with the fact that you're not getting presents. It's just going to add up because of the fact that you can't get presents, basically. You can't get presents. Yeah, he's probably like E, maybe E, but probably only E, because like he's
How
not
about
like
you, Herman?
Swann is pretty bad for this week, I would say. So I don't know if you should use E1 or you still want to use top bars. I mean, top bars are good at clearing. But yeah, probably no, not use P1s. You still want to use top bars, and you want to use Wraith, but they are kind of fragile to everything. So fragile to Blizzard, fragile to things can shoot up like AOEs. I mean, Wraith just really it just hates AOE stuff, storms or wipers. Yeah, and like what Sticksbender said, you can't really claim gifts in early game unless you rush Hercules and teleport SCV and try to build a turret before the end comes. I'm not sure if you can just fly a factory and hold there and use your laser to drill them. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe because your factory is really slow. You don't know where is the first gift will spawn. So like you build them like in your base, but they spawn like pretty far away and can't reach it. Yeah, he's like I think he is like an E tier in my mind. Yeah.
All right, both of you say E. Let's have. Oh wait, E. So Sticksbender said D.
The reason I said D was like I'm not sure that he's like bad enough to be like a whole like gap tier, but like he might be. Also, by the way, for the factory thing, even if you get a factory to the gift to start drilling, the factory itself can't claim the gift, so Amon's just gonna claim the gift while you're drilling at him.
Really? Structures cannot.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the flag factory doesn't count. Structures just nah. So
But
like,
if you left the factory, would it be?
I'm
counted?
pretty sure it just doesn't. I'm pretty sure it just doesn't count structures. So literally, I think you have to like rush a
But-
Hercules
But
question
I
mark.
mean, what's that called? Abathur's toxicness can blame it. It's a structure.
It's true. Maybe the factory can claim it then. I'm not sure actually. But either way, yeah, getting a factory on top of it is really hard.
Yeah, it's also hard.
It's pain.
Yeah, D or E, D tier is also fine for me. Yeah,
So what, D or E?
D is fine for me. Yeah, they are pretty same for me because it's a whole gap.
All right, Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he has the usual problem because you have 5 heroes. They'll be really fragile in late game.
Super fragile.
You can use
Incredibly
yeah.
fragile.
you can use Lone Wolf, but the damage reduction becomes nothing in late game.
I just basically did a Nova strategy here. Wait for big red button, then clear base, rinse and repeat.
Yes. Yes. Just wait for nuke. Other than waiting for nukes,
Turrets. That's all you can do.
Wait, so your turrets, series turrets they are fine with Nautilus, but it's just 5 turrets. Yeah.
True.
Well, yeah. I think like is C tier for this week. Yeah.
How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, basically, the Nautilus is going to be a huge pain. Turrets are good, but Nautilus is still a huge pain. Use big red button. Low base is up. C tier.
All right, let's have him in C. Actually, yeah, I also have. I think I might have. No, C is fine. C is fine. Vorazun, where do we have him?
Vorazun. So Vorazun's pretty solid. She's not like particularly amazing, but she's pretty solid. You can just basically you're going to be massing DTs either way, and DTs don't have to worry about dying of naughty list because they share the naughty list. Also, you're using Shadow Fury, so you're not getting hit very much anyways. So that's cool. You have time stop to clear bases. If you have P3, that time stop is very effective at clearing out the objectives. She's not like particularly amazing at anything. She has all the tools to be good, and I would probably put her in B.
Time stop pauses the blizzards, don't they?
Yes, which is good and bad because it kind of freezes them in place, and they can just be like, I'm gonna just camp this ramp now because you froze me. The damage keeps going.
Oh, the damage keeps going. That'd be annoying.
Yeah, the blizzard keeps having effect. It just stops moving.
Oh well. How about you, Herman?
Yeah, I just use ETs, and you still want to use things to shoot up crosshairs. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to add. Warzone just had a lot of crowd controls, black holes, traps, and time stop, really good. So if you control the enemy, they can't shoot you. So Nautilus is not a thing unless you walk into Blizzard. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, B tier works fine for me.
All right. I had her in C, but B is fine. Zagara, where do I have him?
Oh, Zagara. Usually people will think that Zagara is good against Nautilus because you have Baitings, Zerglings, Scourge.
But what about
They
Blizzard?
they just die, and you don't care about Nautilus. But here they have Blizzard.
Yeah.
So the story kind of changed. Your Zerglings, they can evade the blizzard, but it probably can't be alive after the blizzard pass. Yeah. It's just your army is just really fragile.
Yes.
And if you choose to use P2 to mass corruptors and abs, I don't know if they will suffer against. They will suffer from Nautilus because they aren't like to die, but they are Nautilus, so they will die, and they will die really fast in late game. For defense, you want to use fire launchers. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose too many stuff
Yes.
from the attack wave
Yes.
because attack wave comes late. So use fire launchers for attack waves. But overall, she isn't that good at all. I would say E tier.
B. How about you, Sticksbender?
D tier.
Oh, D.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. How about
tier.
you,
I
Sticksbender?
don't think she's
Yeah, I was
good
wondering.
at all.
How about you, Sticksbender?
Not sure about D. I feel like the reality is, Baneling Scourge is good against Naughty List, and early game she has half a Brutalist. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zagara has
Yes.
half a Brutalisk.
Well, I remember. Eviling remembers. I'm not sure Herman remembers.
Yes, Zagara has half a Brutalisk. That's going to be a lot of early game. That's going to let you get early gifts. You're going to be able to make Baneling Scourge, Zergling, and just have to avoid blizzards, basically. Like, just avoid blizzards with your swarm, and then smash into bases regardless.
Which is harder than it sounds.
Yeah,
It's harder than it
but
sounds.
This is much
basically
better than
the
those.
secret is to just treat your army like a normal army, where it's not like you're just like moving into the enemy base. No, you're just gonna walk around the blizzards, and then when you get to the enemy base, you wait till there's no blizzard between you and the enemy base when you're like right outside it, and then you just go, and everything blows up. And you repeat until everything's dead. And basically, Zagara's best thing is going to be if one time you get everything is free, you're set, because you could just do the whole start a whole bunch of buildings and cancel them as soon as the everything is free wears off, and you have suddenly enough money to buy a bunch of waves extra, and you can just keep smashing stuff into it. I think she's like top of C,
Top of C. What do you think, Herman?
maybe B, but probably not quite B.
Well, because personally, I cannot dodge the blizzard.
Right?
Maybe
As I was saying,
Oh,
harder than it sounds.
yeah, probably just I ain't that good. So
No. I think you're fine, Herman. You're
I
not.
won't say. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
hard.
I'm just
It's
thinking
just
dodging blizzard is.
Giant slow circle that you have literally like over a minute of warning that it's coming. You can see it
it's
from
not.
when it
It's
is
not
on
the
edge of
fact
the
that you
map.
have to dodge the circle itself. You also have to work against a timer. There's a gift that spawns elsewhere. Your ally maybe has something else that is already killing the base and is rendering you completely redundant. It's a bunch of different things, not just dodging a circle. It's a bunch of different things all happening at the same time. And sometimes it just makes you take your mind off of one circle long enough to when you look back your army's gone.
I think I realized why I keep losing my unit to Blizzard, because like when I engage my speeding skirt to the enemy, I kind of dodge, but when I'm not attacking, like when I'm not attacking, I just keep pressing S and Z to make more Zerglings, and I just rally them to the front line, and I don't watch them like during their pass. I'm probably only half alive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. The rally also has to go through the blizzards.
So probably like we need to rally at base.
It's
and
harder than it sounds.
transfer them to Banings, half of them, and then start micro.
I can accept C, but nowhere near the top. Yeah, maybe we could compromise here. Not top of C, not D, but low C. Sounds like a good compromise to me. What do you guys think?
We'll talk about where to see later, I guess.
All right, Herman, are you okay with C?
I'm okay, but I have one question. So late game the gifts will have like hybrid, right? So
Yes.
Zagara is fine. Zagara herself is fine for the waves, because Zagara will get a lot of kills, if you keep using her to like snipe stuff. So will she just be one shot if you like deep tunnel?
Yes,
beside
you will just shove banelings at those gifts.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, C tier is fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Zeratul, cannon's good. S. No, just kidding. Where do we have him?
Cannon's good, not S.
Not S.
Basically.
That makes the Artanis choice even more perplexing. But continue.
Well,
continue.
the simple problem with Zeratul is the fact that when you're using mass cannon Zeratul, the reality is if you're trying to carry with that, like a good half of the power or more is the hero unit. If you're really trying to like do like solos with Zeratul, you will find that like 75% of the power is the hero unit. That's why Black Death is so incredibly killer bad for Zeratul, despite the fact that you'd think, oh, cannon's good, Black Death does nothing. No, Black Death nullifies your hero unit, which is doing more than all the cannons combined. That said, this isn't Black Death, this is just Naughty List, which Zeratul doesn't care as much about that because he can do the age-old trick of I blink in, I cleave, I blink out, and I don't have to worry about getting hit. Yay! So he's still got a hero unit, and it can still do a lot for wave clear, and it can still carry the early game, but I think there's an argument for him in S. There's also an argument for putting him only in A, but if he was an A, he's the best A, so
the best
he could
A.
be S.
What do you think, Herman?
Why we need to use cannon?
I'm not saying we need to. It's just
you don't
really
need
safe.
to. It's just that you
Plus, if you
like-
get everything as free, you can just set up the cannons all at once.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
But I'm still thinking if you have your avatar there, even if
Avatar is
you
really good. Yeah.
after like it have damage reduction, and for your army like I'm not sure if, like you have a lot of stalkers, and you have shield guard to heal your stalkers, and you also have avatar there. You also have what's that called, the thing that can slow down the enemy like for 70%, like
Void
the top
suppression
bar.
crystal.
Yeah, I also have that to kind of reduce the damage from the enemy. So I think probably you just want giant army.
I wouldn't
against-
recommend
yeah.
ambushers in particular because they're brittle even without the naughty list. Maybe you can make it work,
to be
but
fair, the Naughty List isn't going to stack up that much on any one of them, and if it does, then that one dies and you replace it.
And don't
I mean-
forget when the prism, after you have the third artifact, your prism can heal
recharge
your
shields.
you can recharge the shield, and the shield they recharge can like after the damage from the blizzard, and
Alright.
you also have blink. You won't get blizzard all the time.
Yeah.
You have 3 charges of Blink.
Yeah.
So I would say cannons are good, ambushes are good. Don't try to do both at once. Pick one. But whichever you pick should be good. If you go cannons, hey, you can still make a massive blob of shield guards if you want.
You can also cannons and maybe add on a few of those Void Templar to snipe the constructs. That'll work.
I wouldn't be so sure about adding Void Templar because they like to get a lot of kills and they are melee, so they like to get hit. So they are going to probably suffer from Naughty List.
All right.
But you,
I think he's still S though.
yeah,
What do you think, Herman?
yeah.
I think he can be S, but not really easy S.
Yeah, I said he's S. I didn't say easy S.
Zeratul himself get countered a lot, by the Naughty List.
All right. So we're going with S.
Yeah, let's go S.
Yes.
All right.